What I actually want to talk about is all to do around money shame, and in particular, debt. But before we get into that, I want to share with you that these first episodes of the Soul-Led Millionaire are actually episodes that I recorded in a previous podcast that I used to have back in 2019. And the reason that I want to include these episodes in this show is because I think it's such a great way to see someone's journey, to see their progress, to see how far they've come. I know I always love seeing someone else's experience and the obstacles they've overcome, as well as what they've learned, as well as how they've evolved over time. So I think it's a great way to bring this to you, to show you where I was at only those few years ago, and to see how far I've come since then. As well as the fact that these episodes were great when I recorded them, and they're very dear to me. So I figured, why waste them? Why not let you have these episodes as well? So I hope you enjoy this episode. And if you do, please come over and leave a review for the show, and let me know on Instagram what you thought of it. Now, without further ado, let's get into the episode. We can really create this negativity around having debt and this shamefulness vibe that we can have about our debt. You know, we can be secretive about it, we can ignore it, dig our head in the sand about it, and we don't want to deal with it because for some reason we've gotten into our heads that it's shameful to have debt. Or maybe it's more because we feel like we don't understand how debt works or how banks work. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it's something to do with that. And so what I want to clear in this episode today is I want to reframe this shame that we have, these funky feelings around debt and how we use it to buy things. I want to reframe that and clear these negative beliefs because they're just not serving us anymore. And we can look at debt in a completely different way that's far more empowering than how we currently look at it. And let me tell you, since I've looked at debt in this more empowering way, I don't dig my head in the sand like I used to. I'm going to share more of my story later on, but I don't ignore it. I'm actually excited about my debt. I'm excited to pay it off. I have far more respect for it. And yeah, I just overall, it doesn't bother me that much. I have it. It's good to spend it. It's necessary. It's helpful. And I pay it off. Like, we have a good relationship. And when we talk about in terms of manifesting, it's different to manifesting money to paying off debt, right? Just like the vibration of having money is different from the vibration of receiving money or manifesting money. Just like it's different from the vibration of saving money, right? So the vibration of having debt and paying off debt is totally different. So that's what we're talking about today. Okay, so the first thing I want to get started with talking about is the fact that debt isn't good or bad. It's literally just money that you borrow to use to pay for something that you might not necessarily be able to afford right now, or you might be leveraging right now to pay for, that you pay off over time. That's all it is. It's not good or bad, but depending on your association with the word debt, that will depend on like what you think of it. Most people tend to think of it as a negative thing. It's a bad thing. But here's the thing, when you stop actually making debt a bad thing, when you stop telling this story about it, you really take the pressure off yourself. And so you just allow yourself to pay this thing off over time. But the thing is, a lot of people are afraid to spend their money. They're afraid to invest it in things. They're afraid to enjoy their life because it's almost as if they're not allowed to be happy unless they've paid off this debt, or that there's something wrong with them. They can't enjoy things more or to the fullest because they have this special amount of money that they have to pay off that they haven't paid off yet. It's crazy. Like, that's so much pressure you're putting on yourself when you don't need to do that. You really don't. And so I think the best way I can help relate to everyone on this is talking about my experience with debt. So I first got my very first credit card when I was 18. And the thing is, I had no idea. I had no idea what the hell a credit card really was. I really just thought it was free money. That's what it looked like to me. I hadn't been educated about how credit cards worked. I didn't know anything. I didn't understand interest rates. I didn't understand the fees or even account fees. I didn't understand that you had to pay at least the minimum each month or you'd be charged more interest or a late fee. I didn't know that you could negotiate your interest rates or fees with the bank. I didn't know any of this. I just saw it as like, yay, free money. And then it would magically pay itself off. But that's not what happened, right? I still have that credit card today. And it has been a long, long journey. And looking back and reflecting on what I've been like with my debt over the years, I can really see how it was a shameful thing to me to put myself into this position where I owed money. Like, owing is a bad thing. Over the years, I noticed that I would just really dig my head in the sand whenever it came to something about money, owing money, debt. And I didn't want to know about it. And I just figured if I just left it there and didn't think about it, then it wouldn't bother me. Except that because I wasn't paying even the minimum payments, like more fees were racking up on my credit card. And as you know, like when you rake up more fees, you rake up more interest that's paid, and it's a nightmare. And what I thought in my heart when I was still starting to learn about manifesting and law of attraction is that I was like, I'm just going to manifest a big lump sum of money and just pay it off all in one go. That's what I'm going to do. That's how it's going to happen. Like, I don't need to do like the little incremental payments right now. I can pay it off in one go. Like, that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to pay off my debt. That's my magical strategy. And then I don't have to worry about it. But the more that I thought about it, the more that I realized that act, the idea of paying off my debt in that way, was from a place of shame and embarrassment because I wanted to just be rid of it, like straight away, like get rid of it. It never happened. We're all done, dusted, blah, 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 right? And when I realized that, I was like, that is still coming from a place of scarcity. I don't even want to acknowledge the debt now until I have enough money to pay for it. And then once I pay for it, it's gone. Like, I don't have to think about it. Like, you're dead to me, debt. So that to me told me that that was still coming from a place of scarcity, and I hadn't fucking transformed much when it came to debt. And in fact, I hadn't transformed anything when it came to debt, like transformed the belief. And so I knew that I had to really work on this. It clearly wasn't going to be paid off in the way that I wanted it to because it hadn't been up to this day, right? And so once I got really open and honest with myself, and I did a bit of research for my own personal side, like I actually decided to research on my credit cards and the fees that I'm paying and what everything is, I realized like it's not actually bad. It's not a bad thing. We can leverage credit or debt in order to pay for things that we want, right? There's actually no shame around it. When you buy something with credit, with debt, you're worthy of what you're paying for. The things that I've bought with a credit card have been my laptop that's actually sitting in front of me right now. Now this I bought in, I think 2014. Yeah, 2014. And this laptop has helped me build a 6-figure business. Am I feeling shameful about that? Am I feeling embarrassed and wanting to hide that? Fuck no, I'm not. I am so proud of what I've been able to create with this friggin' device. Like this little 13-inch screen and keypad. I have built a 6-figure business that now I love and helps me live my dream life and travel the world. Going into debt was worth that purchase because I am worthy of this. I'm worthy of this laptop. I'm worthy of the business that I've created because of it. Same with my phone. I bought my phone on credit because I didn't have all the money I needed at the time, but I knew that buying this phone was an investment. And if you follow me on Instagram, this is just one of the ways in which I use it. You know that I use it to grow my presence, to run my business, to promote my offers. So this was an amazing investment. Like, this was worth going into debt for because I'm worthy of it. Now, all the things that you buy on a credit card doesn't have to be business related or anything. Like, what else did I put on my credit card? I put on a holiday for me and my ex that we went to Australia like several years ago. And that was absolutely worth it. I loved it. we had such a great time. Another thing is I put on credit was I bought a TV, like a 55-inch screen TV, because we needed a bigger TV for our lounge, and so I got it. And now that TV is sitting in my mom's living room, and so she gets to enjoy watching her favorite shows on Netflix from it. Am I feeling shameful and embarrassed about that? No! My mom gets to enjoy Netflix. She loves it. But I'm always paying it off. There's nothing shameful about that. I'm worthy of everything that I've purchased. And when you start looking at it like that as well, it really takes off the pressure and the heaviness of feeling like debt is this like shameful, embarrassing thing. Like some of the wealthiest people, well, a lot of the wealthiest people, in fact, probably all of the wealthiest people leverage debt to be able to make bigger investments and make more money. So there is nothing bad at all about debt, right? Your relationship to it is what you need to change. So maybe you don't have the desire to pay off your debt right now. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The thing you need to work on right now is changing your relationship with how you feel about your debt. So if we go back to the money beliefs exercise episode that we did a few weeks back, if you went through that whole process and focused only on debt and focused on bringing up the feelings, the deeper feelings that you have around your debt and start clearing it that way, that's the best way to start and transforming how you believe, like how you feel about your debt. So maybe one of your beliefs is, I feel shameful about my debt because I can never seem to pay the minimum monthly payments that are required. And I feel like I'm a failure. I feel like I'm a crappy person. I feel like I'm never going to get ahead. And then you'd go into the part where it's like, is this essentially true? And no, it's not. Everything is possible. Like, it is possible to completely change how you feel about debt. It's possible to feel better. It's possible to get ahead. You know that it is possible for you. You know that you could at any moment have a shift. You know that the universe is always here for you. You know that the universe has your back. You know that money can come from anywhere. You know that at any moment you could slap down $5 on paying back your monthly minimum requirements and you're good. You know that you can start this at any moment. You know that money isn't good or bad. You know that having money isn't good or bad. You know that money is not evil. You know that there is always more than enough for you. There is always more than enough for everyone. There is plenty of overflow of abundance out there for you. You have access to it at any moment, at any time. You can do this. Debt is not good or bad. It's something that you can use to leverage getting yourself something that you need right now that maybe you can't get. It's something that you can use to leverage more investments. It is not good or bad, and you are worthy of everything that you have ever bought with it. It's not reckless to buy something out of debt if it went to creating a better quality life for you, to helping you feel better. It wasn't a shameful, embarrassing thing. You are worthy of it, and there's nothing bad about it. And then after that, you would clearly start telling a new story about it. So it could be something like, I want to feel better about my debt. Right now, I've been burying my head in the sand, and it hasn't felt good, and I've always felt like there's just this thing just like waiting there in the dark in the corners waiting to sort of like pounce on me and be like, hey, you suck because you have this debt. But I know that's not true. I know that the universe has my back. I know that God is watching out for me. I know that there are guardians, spirits, guides, my ancestors, my loved ones who have passed. They've all got my back. I know that this is an abundant universe, and I know that there is always more than enough. I know that there is more than enough for me, and I believe that I can transform this. I believe that I can take steps. I believe that rather than waiting and feeling shameful and in scarcity about paying off my debt, that I can pay it off slowly and build momentum from there, because that's an act of self-love to me. This is how I want to feel about it. I want to feel worthy of the debt. But first, I want to feel an overflow to be able to pay the debt. Rather than feeling like I'm coming from a place of pay the debt first, I want to pay the debt from overflow. And those two energies are different. And that's how I want to do it. I want to feel good as I pay off my debt, but I want to feel good about having the debt as well. I know that I can do this. I know that I can feel good about it. I know that there's nothing shameful about having debt, because everything I have bought, I am worthy of. And everything I will buy from here onwards, I am 100% worthy of, whether I pay for it through credit or I pay through it with the money that I have in my account. I know and believe this is true. I choose to feel better about money. I choose to feel better about my debt. I choose to feel better overall because I deserve what I want, and it's for the highest good of everyone involved. Something like that, right? So I would recommend to go back to the money beliefs episode and changing your limiting money beliefs and work through the process there. And it will go something like that, but be way better than I just did it then. Another thing that I want to mention about what I recommend you should do is what I sort of partially touched on while I was going through that little rampage. Is to focus on overflow. Focus on the way that you pay off your credit card, the way that you pay off your debt is from a place of abundance, is from a place of like having a lot and earning a lot more money, so that paying off the debt is like nothing. You don't even need to worry about it, rather than I'm going to pay off the debt first based on what I manifest. So rather than focus from a place of I need to manifest this so I can pay off my debt, you're coming from a place of there is a ton of abundance for me. I have a shit ton in here, so paying off the debt is like nothing. I don't even need to think about it. It feels great. See how the vibes are totally different? So this isn't about raising your vibe, manifesting more, clearing the beliefs so you can pay off the debt. It's about doing the work regardless and getting yourself in a vibration of overflow and of abundance and of money always coming in. The paying off the debt is just like a little thing that you do. You don't even have to worry about it. And I think one more thing is take the story of debt and what it means off the table. Like, stop looking at it is like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And like we've touched on in this episode, is that if you can reframe it to what you have purchased, you are worthy of, because it's gotten you to where you are. It's allowed you luxuries and pleasures that you've had, or you just have enjoyed it for the sake of whatever it got you, or it helps someone else. That's enough. Hey, it's Elise again. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. And if you did, I would love for you to share your review of this episode on iTunes. I want this podcast to get out to as many people as possible to help them become soul-led millionaires. So if you could do that, if you love the show and you want to share the love, please make sure you leave a review. If you would like more goodies, if you just can't get enough and you want to learn even more, I have a free 3-day workshop on how to manifest $1,000 or more in 30 days that I would love for you to take. All the details of that are in the show notes below. Otherwise, if you just want to say hi, come over to Instagram at Elise McDowell. Thank you once again for listening to this episode. I will see you again soon.